Welcome, everyone. This is another episode of Marie's Message 411 TV. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers. I appreciate you. And I welcome back all my subscribers that have been with me from the beginning. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. This episode of Marie's Message 411 TV is to ask the question: is narcissism spiritual, psychological, or social? Let's discuss it. I noticed that all of us on social media and on YouTube that are content creators or are psychologists or sociologists who um, provide commentary on social media have their own way of discussing and expressing what narcissism is. And some of us express it and explain it in a spiritual way. Some of us express it and explain it in a psychological way as a psychologist who have studied the scientific aspects of it and how the brain functions when it concerns narcissism and narcissistic behavior and personalities and so on and so forth. I noticed that the ones that are spiritual, the empaths, the ones that are chosen, prefer to um, demonstrate their understanding of narcissism from a spiritual aspect. And I do agree with the spiritual aspect of narcissism. I am a chosen one, and I speak from personal experience. I speak from research, but I come at it from an angle of the spiritual aspect of narcissism. And that's the aspect that I use my platform to describe and explain what narcissism is about in different ways. Now, for those who take the scientific approach, those who take the social approach, um, the psychological approach, like Dr. Um, Romney, who discussed narcissism from a psychiatric point of view, from a psychiatric research point of view, as a psychiatric doctor. I have watched and studied um, a lot of Dr. Romney's videos, and when I look at the whole picture, um, the spiritual aspect of narcissism, the psychological aspect of narcissism, the social aspect of narcissism, I have to come to the conclusion that we have to put all three of those together to fully understand what narcissism is really all about. But in my personal belief and opinion, the root of the narcissism and where it stems from is on a spiritual level. And even though it's on a spiritual level, because of the demonic aspects of it, the spiritual takes over the mind, the psychological aspect. The spiritual part of it takes over the social aspect of it. And so I see it in three different parts that we have to put together and come together and come to the conclusion that narcissism is spiritual, narcissism is psychological, and narcissism is social. And this is just my opinion that I have gathered from not only the experience, but also the knowledge and research that I have gathered, that it's not just one or the other. In my opinion, even though I teach and educate about narcissism on a spiritual level, because that's the that's the strongest for me as far as my experience. So that's what I teach and educate on. But in the case of Dr. Romney, she have had her own um, experience and have had her own research and education and knowledge more on a psychological level of how the narcissists think, the thinking process that goes along with narcissism. And then you have the social aspect that goes along with narcissism, meaning socially how the person, the narcissist interact with in social settings and with other people, and the fact that they love and seek validation and attention all of the time. So we have to put all of it together and understand that it's not just one piece to the puzzle. There's actually three parts to this from what I'm analyzing. This is just my opinion and what I'm analyzing. And what I'm analyzing is narcissism consists of a spiritual aspect. Narcissism consists of a psychological aspect. And narcissism consists of a social aspect. And maybe there should be some research done on those three levels at one time to kind of get a full understanding of what a narcissist is and what narcissism is really about. Some of us are just beginning to scratch the surface to fully start to understand what narcissism is all about. It's been among us for centuries now. However, we were not in the knowledge and understanding phase of our lives to actually understand and have a name for it. But it has been here. This is narcissism is not something new. It's just that we have now been able to put a definition to what we have been experiencing throughout our lives. That's been happening for centuries now amongst human beings. We have social media now. We have Google now. So we even have AI. So artificial intelligence is what they call it. So knowledge and research and experience, um, we're now becoming more aware of a lot of things that um, our ancestors and people before us just kind of pushed it under the rug, or just considered the person evil, or you know, but we didn't really have a complete understanding and definition of what narcissism really is, and the intricacies of it. Um, it can be complicated because there are different aspects to narcissism. You have narcissistic behavior, you have narcissistic tendencies, you have narcissistic personality, you have covert narcissists, um, and the list goes on. So there's different aspects to narcissism, and we have to open up our minds and start to think outside the box and understand that just because we have a person that's on a spiritual journey, or their chosen one that chooses to uh, educate about narcissism from a spiritual level, does not mean that they're necessarily wrong about their approach. And the person that chooses to approach teaching or educating about narcissism on a psychological or social level or aspect is not necessarily wrong either. It's just that all of us who are learning about narcissism and is in the process of teaching and educating about narcissism approach it from a different angle. But we must try to consider not only the spiritual angle, but the social and the scientific or biological angle to this. I hope that this video was able to help somebody, or help someone, I should say, to um, have more of an open mind and start to understand that narcissism is is it's on a wide scale, and it requires more learning and more understanding, um and um tell me what you think. Share your comments down in the comment section. Click like, share, subscribe. um Give me your opinion on this video. Some of us believe that narcissism is spiritual, and some of us believe that it's psychological and it's social. Everyone is entitled to their beliefs and their analysis, and we can agree to disagree. But I do see that there is some benefit in learning all three aspects of this um, this thing called narcissism. I hope that this video was able to help someone. This is another episode of Marie's Message 411 TV, and I am going to say to you, until next time, bye bye.